It has not been made officially official yet, but more reports have come out about our star wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that, according to the sources, the deals are done. Now they're just finalizing the minor key points in the deal, and they will soon be released and announced in the near future. Obviously, we will be waiting for the official when it is officially official, and that what that means is when the Cincinnati Bengals themselves post about it, then that is when it is officially official. And then, as most of us are hoping for, it's going to be a dual announcement that at the same day, at the same time, they're announcing the extension of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and then hopefully they get to do a press conference together. And if so, we'll be reacting to that press conference, obviously. But also, before I jump into the video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. We're on the road to 1,500. We are just over 1,100. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for the birthday wishes, even though it is not my birthday yet. To clarify, we're on the road trying to get to 1,500 by my birthday, which is March 31st. So a little bit away, 16 days away until my 21st birthday. But thank you for the early birthday wishes. But let's jump right into the report. Obviously, we are going to be talking about our star wide receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're going to be in Cincinnati, dominating the AFC North and the NFL for the foreseeable future. This is coming. Multiple reports have come out about this, but the report I'm going to be diving deep into is coming from the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals on Sports Illustrated. Sources: Cincinnati Bengals finalizing contract extensions with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The Bengals are in the process of finalizing contract extensions for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. League sources say, like this. This is an exact quote from a source. The deals are done. One source familiar with the situation had to say. Then I'm just going to read this report, go dive deep into it, and what kind of all this stuff means for the Bengals and both players, obviously. Rocky, Higgins, and Chase's agent, both sides are working out the particulars of both contracts, but everyone involved expects the deal to be finalized in the near future. So obviously Rocky is the representation or agent for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. T. Higgins switched to Rocky a few months ago. The speculation was so that they would be able to work together, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Rocky, with the Bengals to finalize and get contract extensions where both of them could stay in Cincinnati for the foreseeable future. And that's exactly what happened. NFL Network was the first to report that the Bengals had made significant progress on both contracts on Friday. Yesterday, and we talked about that yesterday. One source believes that the deals could have been announced then, but both parties wanted to get through the rest of the details before making the announcement. So, one source close to the Bengals believed that the announcement of the extensions could have been announced yesterday, like from the teams themselves. Could have said that they have extended Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but Jamar Chase / T. Higgins and the Bengals wanted to keep the announcement from happening, being officially official, before all the kinks and bolts and all that good stuff are worked out on the contract and everything is finalized. From what it sounds like, we'll dig into it a little bit more. The money is pretty much finalized, the numbers finalized, but the inner workings of like guarantees, cap hit, all that stuff is still needing to be worked out, but expected to be worked out very, very soon for the foreseeable. That they both will be in Cincinnati for the foreseeable future. I'm expecting that announcement probably tomorrow. So Sunday, be on the lookout for another video where we finally get to discuss the actual contract. But reading on, Chase's deal will make him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Meanwhile, Higgins is expected to sign an agreement worth nearly $30 million per season. Chase became the fifth player since the merger of the NFL to win the NFL's Triple Crown. He led the league in receptions with 127, receiving yards 1,708, and receiving touchdowns with 17. So Jamar Chase is going to break history by signing the biggest extension and being the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Breaking the record right now is held by Myles Garrett, the edge rusher for the Cleveland Browns, which was $40 million. So Jamar Chase, I'm assuming, will probably be like $40.5 million per year. And then T. Higgins, I think this is a steal. The fact that we're going to get T. Higgins under $30 million per year in my opinion, is an absolute steal, considering the Pittsburgh Steelers, our rivals, just paid DK Metcalf $33 million a year, and we're getting T. Higgins for less than $30 a year. Absolute steal. And then you got to think, and this can be a completely different video for another time, but the way football is going now, like, there's no way, unless the cap space keeps going up by $30 million per year, we're going like this. Everyone is trying to break the record, right? Imagine the wide receiver market next season for all the breakouts. Like, when is Puka Nacua going to need his contract extension? Is he going to try to break the record? What about Malik Neighbors whenever he needs the contract extension? Jackson Smith-Njigba when he needs the contract extension? Marvin Harrison Jr. whenever he needs the contract extension? They're going to be wanting to probably break the record and get more than Jamar Chase. Not saying they deserve more, but that's the way the NFL is going right now. They are going to want to break the record. At some point, I think it's the owners and the NFL is just going to be a drop-off where everyone's going to try to get as much as they can, but then the ownerships are just not going to be able to pay that much money for players, and then all of a sudden everyone's just going to be accepting low balls. That's my prediction, but that could be obviously be like a decade from the future, but that was really random, but I just kind of wanted to say my opinion about that. And we could talk about that later if you guys want to dive deep into that. But continuing on, the Bengals picked Chase with the number 5 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Since then, he helped the Bengals obviously reach the Super Bowl, and they also had back-to-back appearances in the AFC Championship game in 2021 and 2022. Hopefully, both of these extensions help us get back to the AFC Championship and hopefully back to the Super Bowl, because that is obviously the end goal with Joe Burrow as your quarterback for hopefully and should be the remainder of his career. Jamar Chase obviously being next in line to the importance of the Bengals. And we're going to talk about that later. These extensions are to help us win right now. We are trying to win the Super Bowl right now. If we get these, well, not if, when these are, now that these are officially, not officially official, but now that these contracts have been signed, we don't really have to worry about our offense except the guard position for a long, long time. Now we can just focus solely on defense. And now that we have Al Golden, our new defensive coordinator, I believe we're making the right steps to that next Super Bowl and our first Super Bowl win ever. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it back to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl next season. He's a key player. So this quote is going from Bengals president Mike Brown a few last year. He's a key player next to Joe. He's our next one. Obviously, Joe Burrow, obviously the most important in the franchise, but then Jamar Chase is right after him. He knows it. We know it. This contract talks may take a while. We are going to bend over backwards to get it done. I can't tell you when, though. Obviously, now it is. The win is now. And obviously, the Bengals' strategy is to, for whatever reason, wait as long as they can to get it as cheap as possible. But if we signed and extended Jamar Chase last season, we would be paying $35 million a year instead of $40 million a year. And if we would have extended T. Higgins 2 seasons ago or last offseason, we would probably have him at $25 million a year instead of almost $30. But we're going to keep them both, so that's all that matters as of right now. The Bengals are keeping Chase long-term, and they're also keeping his running mate. T. Higgins, 26-year-old, has 330 receptions for 4,595 yards and 34 touchdowns in his first 5 seasons with the Bengals. They took him in the second round, absolute steal of a second-round pick, 33 overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. What I like to look, especially with that we drafted T. Higgins in the second round, every NFL team had the opportunity to draft T. Higgins. None of them did. And if you didn't know this, T. Higgins grew up a Bengals fan. In a live stream before the draft, he went to Clemson, and one of the commenters asked him in his live stream where he wanted to go play, and he said the Bengals, and the Bengals that year were 4-12. So he has been wanting to be on the Bengals for a long, long time, and now he obviously has been and is going to be on the Bengals for the foreseeable future. One of my favorite players on the Bengals, obviously, and I'm extremely happy that they were able to get both of these contract works out. Now it's kind of looking forward to Trey Hendrickson and what they're going to do with the rest of the offense. He had 73 catches for 911 yards and a career-high 10 touchdowns, most probably because of the Denver Broncos hat trick, 3 touchdowns in one game. In 12 games last season, the Bengals finished 9-8, but they were 8-4 with Higgins in the lineup. T is a need, yes, Joe Burrow said in December. It's not even just his production, it's his presence. It's how he comes to work every day, how the defense have to play us when he's out there. He plays such a big part in what we do here, and he has for the last 5 years now. Expect both contracts to be finalized in the near future. Exact details on the salaries and structure will look like are unknown at this time, but both sides are working on relatively minor details, and everyone involved expects the contracts to be finalized soon. So, like I said, expect very soon for these contracts to be announced with the official numbers. Be prepared for, I'm expecting and predicting. I'm not an insider, so don't take this to heart. I'm expecting Ja'Marr Chase to probably be around $40.5 million per year, and T. Higgins, now that the report is nearly 40 or 30, I'm assuming like $28.5 million per year, which in my opinion for T. Higgins, especially the wide receiver market right now, that's an absolute steal. T. Higgins for $28.5 million per year, that's an absolute steal. Obviously, we are paying the best wide receiver, Ja'Marr Chase, the most money in the NFL. So hopefully, if the wide receiver market continues the trend away it is going, more and more wide receivers will be getting more money than Ja'Marr Chase, which will make this deal look a million times better. But obviously, both of them deserve it. Ja'Marr Chase being the best wide receiver in the league, obviously he deserves it. T. Higgins, in my opinion, right now, top 15 in the league. And if he can figure out those injuries, which I'm hoping now that he doesn't have to worry about the contracts, he can just worry about himself and playing with the Bengals and having fun out there, then those injuries will start to not be as prominent. And then both of them can have 1,000 receiving yards, and then both be top 10 wide receivers in the league. I really think if T. Higgins just has another season like he did last year without the injuries, I think T. Higgins is a top 10 receiver in the league. And then the Bengals confidently would have the number 1 receiver in the league and a top 10, probably around number 10, number 9, number 8 receiver in the league. So you'd have 2 top 10 receivers in your receiving room with arguably the best or number 2 quarterback in the league, Joe Burrow. And obviously these extensions are plans for the Bengals to win right now and go back to the Super Bowl. I'm predicting that if they do the right things on defense, like extending Trey Hendrickson and then drafting the right defenders and then maybe a few offensive players here and there in the draft, like a guard, still signing some guards in free agency this year, Cincinnati could easily be in the Super Bowl next season. And I think a lot of people are freaking out about free agency right now, but I don't think you realize, yes, we finished 9-8 last season, didn't make the playoffs, but we were literally that close to making the playoffs. And if we made the playoffs, I promise we would have gone on a run. So we didn't need to drastically change anything about the team. Obviously, the defense needed improvement, but I think a lot of that, I don't think a lot of it was the players. I think a lot of it was Lou. I think he wasn't putting the best players out there in their best times and allowing the defense to be in the best place and shape possible. So now with Al Gordon and his different scheme from Lou, being a more aggressive type of defensive play calling, I think that defense is going to take a massive step next season, especially with the signings of Warren Burks and TJ Slayton being run stoppers. And obviously we still have the draft, which videos of mock drafts will be coming out soon. But thank you so much for watching this video of the Bengals Digest channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. On the road to 1,500 before my birthday, which has not happened yet and isn't today. March 31st, my birthday. Hopefully we can get to 1,500 by my birthday. Don't forget to like this video. Share it with your Bengals friends because Bengal football is better together. Comment down below how you feel about these contracts and who else you want to go sign in free agency or trade for, or if you want to draft. Whatever you want to do, just comment it down below. But thank you so much for watching. For the Bengals Digest channel, I'm Carson Lokey. Have an amazing one.